The Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the United States of America was formally established in 1920 with the arrival of the first missionary, Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib, may Allah be pleased with him. Over the next 100 years, by the grace of Allah, the community has continued to flourish across the country. Today we'll be showing you the state of Texas and taking a look at how the Ahmadiyya Muslim community started from humble beginnings and has now become a positive force in the heart of America. Texas is the second largest state in America and has a population of more than 28 million people. It is an agricultural area with the main industries being oil and farming. Texas possesses 3 of the top 10 most populous cities in the United States, namely Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. In addition, the city of Austin is an up-and-coming tech hub in the region. The Ahmadiyya community's roots in the state of Texas were established in the 1970s as members moved to the area to pursue their careers and education. A thriving oil industry and expanding medical centers, along with prestigious universities, helped attract Ahmadi professionals and students to the region. They were also motivated by the better quality of life compared to a congested metropolitan area. We start with the city of Houston, the 4th most populous city in the country and famously home to the United States' space exploration missions. In the late 70s, as more and more families moved into the area, the number of Ahmadis was sufficient to form an official Jamaat.
In the beginning, there were only 6-7 families, and the Jamaat was formed at the end of probably 1979. We used to meet in general meetings almost in every house. We were going to the small apartments, and then we are going to the bigger apartments, and then the bigger apartments or bigger houses were not able to host the meetings.
And then meetings were held in community centers. After that, Allah gave us an opportunity to get a mission house.
You know, we've had all sorts of more rudimentary prayer halls that would flood, whose ceilings would leak. You know, you could hear street sounds inside the mosque during programs and lectures at the podium. And the vakarem that would come in some of those really basic facilities would be sometimes a good challenge for us.
Despite these challenges, the Jamaat continued to hold events and eventually grew large enough to start planning for a dedicated mosque to be built. A generous Jamaat member took it upon himself to purchase a 5-acre plot of land just north of downtown Houston and donated it to the Jamaat for this purpose.
The construction of this mosque started in 1998. Hazrat Khalifatul Masihur Rabi Rahmullah Alayh laid down the foundation stone of this mosque.
This I remind the Ahmadiyya community, which is undertaking this very ambitious project of building a house of God here in this facility, where actually very few Ahmadis live. The mosque in Washington, the Central Ahmadiyya Mosque in Washington, people thought that it was so big that it would take 10 years for it to be filled. And in the very first year, it was found to be small. And we were amazed at the grace of Allah. So I do believe that this mosque will also be treated by God with the same kindness and benignity too. So get ready for you to swell in number, but not in ordinary number. Swell in number of worshippers. That is the purpose of building mosques.
And that was an amazing experience of first time ever Hazrat Khalifatul Masih coming to Houston. It was hot summer day. I mean, this is just, the experience there in the late summer afternoon where Houston temperature is so high. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, the fourth Rahmatullah, came in and laid the foundation of Baitul Sami Mosque. That was June 30th, 1998. It was so hot, and we did the inauguration event in the tent. Everybody was sweating, and I even made a comment apologizing to Hazur that weather is so hot. Hazur said, "It's not your fault. This is the weather. This is the Houston." So he was very, kind.
After this historic event, the Jamaat came together to collect funds to develop the rest of the site.
With the donations of Jamaat members, we built our residence for our missionary sahib, and also 2 halls for our meetings, one for men and one for Lajna.
We have a Langar Khana, a basketball court. So from one Jamaat building to a full compound as we have now.
And that was the beginning of what later became this mosque, which was inaugurated in 2004. And then later blessed by Khalifatul Masih with a blessed visit. Hazur opened the curtains, and this was in 2018. So, alhamdulillah, we've been privileged to see 2 Khulafa visit this mosque.
Over in Dallas, in the heart of Texas, Ahmadi families were also coming together and beginning to organize themselves into a formal Jamaat.
Now, the Jamaat was established in 89-90, the official election. I think back then, if there were 3 families, I think it was allowed to establish a Jamaat. So we had the election. I think out of 5 people, everybody got a position because it was small Jamaat.
That time we were like 30 or 40 people. They said we should have our own place because we are in offices or others and others. So because once their offices were gone, we didn't have a space. And for almost a year, we used to pray Jummahs or functions in a hotel, a hall, or a center, or in a house. There was a house, we rented it for a year or something, and but during that time, we always looked for a place. Finally, around 96, because we had a property that we rented for a couple of years, 5 years or 6 years, we were renting a property in Carrollton. In Carrollton, we rented a place and we were there for 5 years. But during that time, we were always looking for a property that we're going to go move permanently. Then we found this land.
और है भी खुदा के फजल से ये कमर्शियल थी, तो उसमें हमें किसी किस्म की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, तो मैंने कहा फौरी तौर पे ले लेते हैं.
And the Jamaat said, okay, let's buy it because we had a small budget and we can pay and we can do that. So at that time, in around 96 in March, we bought this land.
After purchasing this land, Jamaat members made tremendous sacrifices to raise funds and made the necessary plans for their mosque to be constructed. By the grace of Allah, in 2002, construction commenced on this site.
मैंने खत लिखा हुज़ूर रैयत तलब नसर अज़ीज़ को, और मैंने साथ लिखा कि कोई हम ईंट भी बजा देंगे, तो हुज़ूर का इरशाद आया कि ईंट हम अपने पास से देंगे, और हज़रत ने अज़र शफ़क़त इसका नाम मस्जिद बैतुल इकराम रखा.
तो मेरी बीवी लंदन गई हुई थी, तो सर साहब ने उसे कहा कि तुम आई हो तो हसब को मिल के आना. तो खलीफा राबे रहमतुल्लाह ने वो फिर इस मस्जिद के लिए वो ईंट पे दुआ करके और मेरे घर के लिए उन्होंने छोटी टाइल पे दुआ करके तो उन्होंने अपने नाम लिख के, तो मेरी बीवी जब मिलने गई हसब को तो उन्होंने उसे दिया, खत दिया था, तो ईंट दी.
That blessed brick was laid into the ground, forming the foundation for the project. With such a large plot of land, the project had to be divided into multiple phases so that it could be completed in stages.
When we did the planning, initially this existing phase was our multipurpose hall for meetings and all this stuff. But since we didn't have the money, we just built a hall at that time. Now the actual mosque, the phase 2 is the actual mosque that we are building. At that time we didn't, because we are now outgrown the existing hall that we had small, right? At that time we didn't have the fund, but this is now the complete new mosque.
The new mosque, which is able to hold more than 500 worshippers, has become the new centerpiece for the Jamaat, providing the platform on which they will, God willing, continue to expand.
इमाम वक्त से जिसको हुसूल शर्फ बैत है मुक़द्दर का धनी है ख़िश्त तामीरे जमात है मुक़द्दर का धनी है ख़िश्त तामीरे जमात है.
We now take you to Austin, which is Texas's state capital. It is home to the University of Texas at Austin. This is a flagship institution of the University of Texas system and is known for being a leading school of research in the country. The first few members of the Jamaat in Austin were students moving to the area to attend this prestigious university.
They were doing all their Jummah and everything at the university. We didn't even have a slot center or at that time a real close by place to do Jummah prayers.
You know, a lot more families started to come in and they felt they needed a place. So initially there was a member here in Austin who used to own a hotel.
And they would give us one of their conference room, and that's starting in about 90, 98, 99, and we would do our monthly meetings there.
As the Jamaat continued to expand, the need arose for a local mosque that could house worshippers attending daily prayers and religious functions. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Austin was able to purchase an old Baptist church building in the Round Rock area. Once again, local Ahmadis made huge sacrifices to raise the necessary funds to purchase the site and convert it into a mosque.
We raised quite a bit within, short period of time. And that's when we had an experience of small kids came to me and said, "This is $20 I have. This is my savings. I'm giving it to you for the masjid." We had Lajna literally there at the masjid taking their jewelry off and giving to us. There are people who were taking their watches off and they gave us as a donation.
So we bought this in 2007 and I believe we got the possession in August and formally started meeting, and we had some construction work here to do, and then we started meeting in September of 2007, and we have been using this place since then.
The Jamaat in neighboring San Antonio also benefits from this new mosque, with members regularly traveling to the mosque for joint events.
Well, the families are here are pretty, we have our Jummahs, we have our meetings, etc. So we as a pretty good, decent group. So may Allah Ta'ala increase us both in taqwa and also in our mutual growth.
Pioneer missionaries were assigned to the area to nurture the Jamaat at a grassroots level. Over the decades, they assisted in the moral and religious training of Jamaat members and were instrumental in reaching out to the wider community.
Mirza Mahmood Ahmad Sahib was the first missionary in Texas and stationed in Houston. And after 3-4 years he served there, then Hazrat Amir Mu'minin Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahimahullah Ta'ala appointed me missionary for that region in that area in Houston. And after me, there are a couple of other missionaries by the grace of Allah served that area, like Zafarullah Hanjra Sahib, like Zafar Sarwar Sahib.
After Zafarullah Sahib, missionary Bashar Sahib, and currently Rizwan Khan Sahib is in Houston. He got to Houston in the same time frame 4 years ago when they came to Dallas.
Through classes, interfaith events, and tabligh activities, their preliminary efforts played a pivotal role in laying the groundwork for future generations.
लेके नाम खुदा लेके नाम नबी अपने जज्बों को महमीज करते करते चलो रास्ते में वफा के जलाओ दिए और कदम तेज से तेज करते चलो हेच है राह के पेचो खम दोस्तों आगे बढ़
Alongside the efforts of local Jamaat members, undoubtedly, the true progress of the community here is due to the blessings of Khilafat, which continue to inspire and provide guidance to Ahmadi Muslims in the area. The Jamaat was blessed by the visit of a Khalifa for the second time when Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, made a historic visit to Houston in 2018.
We were lucky enough to have our President Huzur Ayatollah Ta'ala bin Abdul Aziz in Houston, and the way the whole Jamaat came together, not only it inspires one's life, I think it inspires the whole Jamaat.
We suggested some programs for Huzur to do lectures for universities and a lot of like dignitaries want to do, but Huzur said no, my main purpose here is come to meet Jamaat members, and that's what I'm going to do. So Huzur was there the whole time in the mosque and just meeting people from this region.
That was phenomenal meeting, and even though we had so many things on our mind that we're going to talk to Khalifa like that, but as soon as we saw Khalifa, I forgot everything, what to talk about. I was just looking at the Khalifa and trying to absorb all the I think Nuraniyat, of his personality, Very happy event of my life, and my family as well. Yeah.
So many mulaqat during that Huzur's trip that members from all over the region came over here for mulaqat with Huzur. So it was a wonderful trip, and I'm sure that it will be on the memories of all our Jamaat members for a long time.
The goal of the Ahmadi community is not only to increase in number, but also to bring about a positive impact in every area in which it is established. The Jamaat aims to benefit all people, no matter their faith, background, or social standing.
We made very good contacts with our local congressmen and senators. We participated in Muslim for Life, Muslim for Peace, numerous blood drives on 9/11 time frame, feeding and food distribution for homeless. Our Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya very actively participated in Hurricane Harvey and did numerous projects in low-income areas, which made a lot of impact on local population.
I remember that for several weeks on a daily basis, there were teams of Khuddam and Ansar going from Austin, Texas to Houston area to help out with the disaster relief activities. People had their homes that had to be gutted, and a lot of repair work had to be done.
Alongside these humanitarian efforts, the community is constantly involved in propagating the true teachings of Islam through a variety of means.
We hold a number of programs at the University of Texas every year and invite students to attend those events, and those are very well attended. People approach us, ask us questions about Islam. Many of these people have never met a Muslim, so it is their first experience of meeting a Muslim.
The peace-loving nature of the Ahmadiyya community is second to none in many, many ways, second to none. And it's not a superficial tolerance. It's not like, hey, we're going to respect you. You have your beliefs and we have similar beliefs and we can see eye to eye. Let's shake on it. That's great. That's tolerance. But what we see with the Ahmadiyya community, it's something much more embracing, Rather than say, hey, we're really similar, you give someone a hug and you talk about mutual commonalities. That's very, very inclusive, the Ahmadiyya community.
As we have seen through the decades, the Jamaat in Texas has progressed from humble beginnings and inshallah will continue to expand and strengthen under the guidance of Khilafat.
अल्लाह ताला ने यहाँ आपके हालात बेहतर किए, मजहबी आज़ादी दी, इबादत का हक अदा कर सकते हैं और आज़ादी से अपने मज़हब का इजहार कर सकते हैं। इसलिए ये ज़रूरी भी है हर एक अहमदी के लिए यहाँ जो पाकिस्तान से ख़ास तौर पे आए हुए हैं कि दीन को दुनिया पर मुकद्दम रखने के लिए पूरी कोशिश करें और अल्लाह ताला के अहकामात पर अमल करने के लिए अपनी तमाम तर ताकतों को इस्तेमाल करें।
आगे बढ़ते रहो दम बदम दोस्तों, आगे बढ़ते रहो दम बदम दोस्तों, देखो रुकने ना पाए कदम दोस्तों, देखो रुकने ना पाए